brighter. That's better. Has to be. That light is terrible. I can't have. Oh gosh, I'm live. I'm very.
Light is going out.
No, you've just ruined my program again.
Why do you have?
I'm in my. Oh, no. You've ruined it. I'm very sorry, viewers. The viewers, I'm very, very sorry. The woman is screaming in the background yet again, ruining my program yet again. I do apologize. I very, very, very sorry.
Bright lights shining in my face.
I don't need screaming in the background. This is terrible. I do apologize, viewers. This stupid woman is screaming in the background, ruining the program as usual. I was meant to start the program in a nice, civilized way. And of course, there are people watching, and you can see this stupid woman hear us screaming in the background, ruining my program again. So, yet again, thank you very much to her. I'm not going to put up with any more of this. I'm done with her. I've finished. She's ruined my program for a third time in a row. It is not fair what she's just done. Screaming in the background. It doesn't work. The light had to be turned around because she doesn't want it pointing at the window. The light is not exactly helping in the way it's working, but I cannot move it because I am in the middle of the program. Anyway, good evening to you all. Thank you very much for coming along. I'll just have to put up with it as it is. Thank you ever so much to her for ruining my program for the third time in a row. I'm really very upset now. After all I've put up with in the last 24 hours, I've had enough. I can't take any more of this. I've absolutely finished. Because I've done all this work for this program, and I can't even start the program without screaming in the background. It is not fair. It is not correct. It is totally wrong. And if somebody would just let me do what I needed to do, I wouldn't be in this situation. So there we go. I'm not going to stop because there we go. I don't know how to deal with this situation because I will have to move off camera to move it, but well, I suppose I have to. I just have to turn it round. That's all I can do.
Don't put it on the window.
That's what I will do. I'll put it here. I'm very, very sorry to you all. I'm very, very sorry for the screaming in the background at the start of this program. Oh, be quiet, woman! No. You are ruining my program yet again. I'm absolutely done with this woman. I'm going to. I can't deal with her anymore. No, it's not correct that she's screaming. Yes, she is a bully. Yes, she's screaming in the background, trying to ruin my program. After all the kindness I've shown her today, when she has behaved so badly, it's an appalling way she's behaved in the last 24 hours, and I'm very upset. I just wanted to focus on my program. I've done all of this work, and she is already trying to ruin everything. So there won't be much more of her and I because I've had enough. I'm done with all this nonsense because I can't do my work. It's absolutely appalling. I'm very, very sorry. I didn't mean to have this happen. She promised that she would behave herself and not interrupt, and immediately she ruins the program. I'm very, very sorry to you all. Yes, you can all hear it. Yeah, your comments, I'm not going to read them out because you can all hear what's been said. It's absolutely insane. I totally agree. No respect, precisely. That's exactly what it is. I wanted to focus on our program. Anyway, there won't be much more of this because I can't take much more of it. I'm finished with it. I've had enough. I have to be able to do my things, and I can't have screaming in the background from lunatics. And that is not the way that this should be done. I am trying to do a program. Anyway, there we go. I do apologize to you all because you shouldn't have to hear this kind of nonsense and gibberish screaming when I had made very clear that I would be starting the program. So that is enough. And, you couldn't see me last night. it didn't work for that reason. You couldn't hear me on other occasions. I fixed that. I just don't need any trouble. But anyway, I say cheers to you all. Very welcome to you all. There's lots of you coming in. You're all very, very kind. You're fantastic people, and you're very tolerant because, quite frankly, I would turn myself off if I'd been watching this. This is an absolute shit show. It's an absolute fucking disgrace. I'm absolutely appalled that we've started this program, which was meant to be a very positive program, in this manner. So I do apologize to each and every one of you for the appalling conduct that has just been heard in the background. Absolutely sickening, and I am disgusted and very upset. My program has been ruined again for the third time in a row. This is not correct, and it's not going to happen again. I will not be allowing it. I will not be filming this program with other people present. That is for sure, because it's better that I do it alone, because people who are rude don't know when to shut up, and that is completely unacceptable. Silence is a virtue, and it's one that somebody else should learn to possess when I am making my broadcast. So anyway, we'll start again from here, 6 minutes in. I will say good evening and hello to you all. Thank you very much for coming along. I will be talking about a number of topics tonight. And I'd like you to ask me some questions, and we'll be doing a quiz. And if I wish to go on for 3 hours, I will go on for 3 hours. I'll go on for as long as I want. Yes, thank you for the point. Yeah, there we go. Right, so we're going to talk about an apartment in London that, quite frankly, is the most ludicrous apartment in London. We're going to talk about the Menendez brothers and the latest from D.A. Hockman and Mark Geragos, who is a brilliant man. The Geragos is a genius. We love the Geragos. Absolutely fabulous man. I'm going to talk about Mark Carney, the next man to be president of Canada, and his little curious relationship with Ghislaine Maxwell, which will bring in the story of the fake Rockefeller. So they're my little topics, but let's begin with a few of your questions, please. Let's have some questions from you, because I need a moment of calm. I need to decompress after the stress that I've just been caused. So there we go. Right. Susan, you tagged me in a news story about the Menendez brothers. I don't know where you did that, but yes, there's lots of stories about the Menendez brothers at the moment, and we'll come to the Menendez brothers later. Right, Mr. Mann, you all have a great deal of support from all of us. Thank you. Very kind. Kathy says hi from Toronto, Canada. Hello to Kathy in Canada. That's very nice of you. Yes, I will not comment on Paulie's comment, but I quite agree. There we go. Nicola Crompton says cheers. I've always enjoyed your company, Nicola Crompton. Thank you. Paula says carry on. Yes, carry on regardless. That's probably where we're up to in this situation. It's a torrential storm here in the south of France, and absolutely awful. But I can't do my program without being set up correctly, and you can see the lightning just behind me. So there is lightning. As they say in Macbeth, in thunder, lightning, and in rain. When shall we three meet again, those witches? That's how I feel about that tonight, yes. I think you can get the point. There we go. Any news on Fergie? The Duchess of York, the latest all I know about her is she's going on this Loose Women program. She will probably be paid about £3,000 an episode, which is not a bad little grift for her for an hour's work, is it really? Very nice. There we are. Right, next question. Any more questions, please? Otherwise, I will start talking about the topics. I really will have to say, it is a shocking state of affairs that this Fergie is even thinking of going on the telly box, because it's not a very good idea, is it? Really, absolutely shocking, absolutely appalling. You love watching lightning. Okay, right. Okay, there we are. Well, you might see some in the background because there has been quite a bit. I hope you can hear me clearly. Right. Am I a football fan? No, I've never been into football. No, I'm not really in. I love horse racing, and of course, today has been a great day at Cheltenham. Though it was very sad to hear about the fall of Constitution Hill, but Constitution Hill is doing well and is absolutely fine. So it's a shame it didn't win. He didn't win, but Constitution Hill, a great horse. So there we are. Have I heard from Michael Barrymore? No, I haven't heard from Michael Barrymore. He is a shameful coward. And, the person who pretended to be Michael Barrymore, unless it was Michael Barrymore, he does have an agent called Keith Bishop. I might give Keith Bishop a telephone call in the morning, because I might see what Keith Bishop has to say. Let's see what Keith has to say. He could be an interesting one to speak with. But there we go. Right. There we go. What's my thoughts on the Reform Party split between Farage and Rupert Lowe? As you know, I'm possibly having a conversation with third parties about that matter. We'll see how we progress, but I think he might be a bit busy talking to Elon Musk. Elon Musk might fund another party, which could be another load of nonsense. Whether that's a fake news story, we only know. But I do apologize yet again for the interruptions, and there's lots of noise here because there is rain and storms in the background, so you might get a bit of interruption here. Right, but no, I'll come back to you on that once I know more. You've been getting bad storms in South Carolina. There we go. Right. Paulie says Barrymore's agent is hardly rushed off his feet with bookings and TV appearances for Barrymore. Quite correct. Barrymore doesn't deserve a single booking. Barrymore is as much use as a chocolate teapot. He's a total waste of space, and his TikTok thing, disgusting. Shame on him. But no, we haven't had any contact with Barrymore. So Barrymore, man up, grow up, show up, do something useful. It would be helpful to have Barrymore actually speak to me. But there we go. And honestly, I have to say he's one of those people. He doesn't have the courtesy to be decent to the Lubbock family. Yes, he can go and make videos in a lavatory, on the bog, on the shitter, but the crapper, whatever you want to call it. I don't call it the word toilet, which is disgusting and common. But he can't have the courtesy to be decent to that family. Shame on him. He rolled around on the floor with Baroness, Marie Claire, Baroness von Oldensleben, a convicted criminal racist who happened to be very nasty to a number of my friends, and then rang me up and said, I cannot be held responsible for what I cannot remember. And she's photographed lying on the floor in the gutter in the Dorchester, basically rolling around with Barrymore because they're both so smashed off their faces, rather like, somebody else present. But there we go. So you just had another flash of lightning in the background. So there you go. It's getting very spooky here. Barrymore makes your skin crawl, says NWEV. Yes. There we are. Precisely. So any more questions before we move on to the next topic? Do any of you have a question? Let's have a question from someone else. A question would be welcomed. Whilst I pour myself a glass of red wine, because that's what I'm going to be having this evening. Right. You just saw the Flash. Yes, there is a bit of a Flash. It wasn't Flash Gordon, though. Flash Gordon didn't do that. Is Kitty being protected? I think once Kitty decides to disappear from this planet, we will find a situation where people will say, oh dear, we should have done the same as with Savile. Yes. So that's my answer. Captain's daughter's new book. Well, I've already spoken extensively about Captain Tom's daughter and her book. She's a disgraceful piece of toe rag. She's a scumbag. She's filth. She's revolting. She makes me feel sick. It's an absolutely appalling state of affairs. She should never, ever have done what she did. But from what I read today about her, she's always been like this. Oh, good Lord. I'm sorry about the noise in the background, yet more noise ruining my program. I'm very, very sorry. A certain person has absolutely no respect for my program, and it's disgusting that she has no respect. So I'm very, very angry about the situation of the noise. I asked for quiet only during my program, but, this is disgusting. I do apologize. Absolutely sickening and wrong what she's doing in the background. Sorry, I'm very angry with her. I won't be doing this again in this situation. It's impossible. I can't have my program ruined in this way. It was all set up very nicely, and now the lunatic is ruining it again. Absolutely appalling. So there we go. Yes, she's not cleaning the house. She's making up a mess. That's what she tends to do. Then I have to deal with it. And it's absolutely appalling. Right. You can hear me clearly enough. So, right. There we go. We'll move along. Right. So this Ingram Moores are grifters who wanted fame and fortune. They did work in the PR industry, so they're experts at that kind of thing. So there we go. I have to say they are a pair of shockers, those two. I don't know what the children are like. There's a boy and a girl. They can be treated differently, but there we go. Honestly, awful people. And, it's absolutely shocking that people behave in a bad way like that. It's absolutely appalling. And that silly daughter taking her father on an aeroplane when he was that age during coronavirus. No wonder he got it and he died. No wonder he was brown bread dead. And making him hang out for the last few days of his life with that filthy piece of rubbish, Cliff Richard. Disgusting. Shame on her. Just because she wanted a free holiday in Barbados. Absolutely revolting. The Ingram Moores, yeah, they should open a gift shop. Yeah, well, they've got nothing that anybody else would want. They're not worthy of anything. I agree it's not the children's fault. No, the children are totally blameless in this story. I don't blame them. Do I watch the 1% Club? I don't know what the 1% Club is, so I'm very sorry, Becky. I don't know the program. Never heard of it. Right, there we go. Well, as my program has been virtually ruined, and I don't really want to do much more of this. Again, the third time in a row, it's been wrecked. I'm very upset, but and I won't be doing it again in the setting because I've had enough. I do apologize to you all for the rude interruptions, the shouting, the yelling, and the horribleness. It's not appropriate for live television. It's absolutely shocking. Right. Well, and after this, I've had enough. So don't worry. It's over. That situation. I've absolutely had enough. So my first topic this evening was, I wanted to be in a good mood to talk about this, and I'm really, I'm really not. Ruined as usual. It's awful. But anyway, we'll move along. I'll try. So I read a story earlier today in the Evening Standard by a lady called Charlotte Duck, Mrs. Duck. It's a very appropriate name for the story. Mrs. Duck wrote about a studio flat that's for sale in Queensgate, London, SW7. So Queensgate is the only, I haven't written this down here, but I remember my factual history. It's London's only boulevard. There you go, because that's the way it was built. And this flat at 134 Queensgate, her measurements were a little different to the estate agents, so we may conflict. But I got the floor plans of the property. It measures 120 square feet. That's 11.7 meters square. It's tiny. It's a broom cupboard, basically. At one point, it's 2.5 feet wide. It's very, very narrow. And it's not got very high ceilings because originally it was used as a cupboard to store a broom for a caretaker. So this place is of no great consequence. The minimum space standard for UK dwellings under planning guidance is 398 square feet, 37 square meters. So it's 20 square meters smaller than what is really allowed to be a home. This place is an absolute squalid cupboard. And this man, he tried to sell it in November for 250,000 last year. He's now trying to sell it for 230,000. So he's sliced 20 grand off the price. Yes, it is in a very nice location, but as the Evening Standard said, barely room for a broom. And they're right. There was an estate agent in the 1950s to the 1970s in London, and I have a copy of his book. It was called Brothel in Pimlico. He wrote a book. He was the most honest estate agent on the planet. There aren't many estate agents are not very honest people. They all use words like, there goes another flash, like prestigious and superlative and all of this kind of fancy words that actually mean nout. Roy Brooks was the antithesis of such people. He wrote this book, Brothel in Pimlico, after he would put adverts in the newspaper, the Evening Standard. He would say, barely not enough room to swing a cat or something like that. He would say, this house is unfit for habitation. That was how he advertised houses. And he took what was called puckish delight in telling the truth, the whole truth, and the unwholesome truth about the properties as an estate agent that he had advertised for sale. At least he was an honest man, this Roy Brooks. Someone else has recently recreated an estate agency using his name. It's nothing to do with him because he died in 1971. But this flat is exactly the example of something that should be advertised as such. It is an absolutely stupid load of rubbish. The owner is a man called Nick Minns. Mr. Nick Minns allegedly, I haven't checked because I don't know the flat number, paid £80,000 for it in 20 years ago. He claims he rents it out for £2,000 a month, and he claims it's never been empty. He claims it will appeal to what he calls, and I've never heard of this invented word from his stupid vocabulary, the super commuters. I've never heard of a super commuter in my life. So if you can tell me what is a super commuter, there we are. Right. There we are. Right. Yes. Thank you for some of your comments coming in. We're not going to comment on other matters because, frankly, no. I'm now even more shocked than I was before. Right. I won't say any more of that. I will not be doing this broadcast in this manner ever again. I do apologize to you all. It is inappropriate and it is wrong. Yes. Right. Oh dear. The estate agent called Nick Gaunt of Purple Bricks, which is a sort of down market estate agent that would deal with a property like this, because I don't know if a property like this is actually legal or not. It will make a smart investment for any buyer. I'd say the only person who could fit into this is a hobbit. It's a hobbit flat. It's, you know, if you went on location, they'd say, well, it's a great address. Well, of course it is. 134 Queensgate. Prime Central London, as the estate agent would call it. PCL. That's what they like to say, these estate agents. But frankly, this dump, it may be in a grade 2 listed building. You know, the ground rent is £100 a year on top, so you've got to pay that. £1,380 in service charge, council tax. You know, this is a house a flat smaller than any other flat in the whole of central London. It's not band A, it's band C. So you still have to pay expensive council tax, and you've only got 86 years left on the lease. So Mr. Nick Minns is having a laugh, isn't he? He's having a joke. Nick Minns, you're a joker. You're a plonker. But, you know, you're trying to spin a yarn. You tried to sell it for 250,000 and you failed. And now you're spinning a story through the Evening Standard with Purple Bricks. Well, I'm calling you out as someone who's selling a load of old tat. You're worse than Del Boy. Shame on you. Absolutely shame on him. It's an absolute laughable load of rubbish. This place is not a home. It's not fit to be a home. And Victoria says, good evening. Hello, Victoria, my lovely friend. Victoria, I hope you've been watching Cheltenham. We love Cheltenham. And, you know, Constitution Hill, and it was sad about that. But Victoria is my jockey friend. She's an absolute smasher. She's absolutely the best in the West. So my cheers to my lovely Victoria. Absolutely adore you. Thank you for coming in. Right. Mr. Nick is a greedy bar steward. Yes, I know what you mean, Jane. Yes. Yeah, Mr. Nick is he's Nick the Nicker, isn't he? Well, I hope he's he enjoys my bit of publicity I've given him, because I've actually looked into this little scam property. It's an absolute con, because you're not legally meant to be allowed to live in a space that small. It's a cupboard. It's not a home. And Mrs. Duck was the perfect woman to write about it, if Mrs. Duck is a real person, Charlotte Duck, because to get into that bed, you'd have to duck. You couldn't get up. The bed is tiny centimeters away from the ceiling. It's absolutely ludicrous. There we go. Right, so we will move along. We have 2 more topics, but if you have some questions first, let's have some questions from you because of all the interruptions and the embarrassment that I've had to endure. If you'd like to ask some questions, please go ahead. Thank you. So questions next. Ingram Moore should be in jail. Sans the hot tub. Well, the hot tub's been demolished, so she doesn't have a hot tub anymore. She may have one inside the mansion, but the house is hardly in a beautiful location. It looks like it's adjoining a council estate. It's absolutely revolting. It's no wonder no one wants to pay £2 million to live in that dump. It's absolutely horrible. It looks like a horrible place. And as for that spa she built, well, she built it illegally. Shame on her. No wonder they went after her. Did I see the champion hurdle? I've seen clips. So yes, Victoria, I have seen the clips, and racing into action at the end. Well done. And Radio 4's tips came in. So I wish I had bet on Radio 4's tips. So tomorrow, if any of you are watching, Radio 4 for once got it right. So if you can listen in to Radio 4 and you have a Ladbrokes account like me, or a Sky Bet account like me, or one of those things, or a Bet365, and I'm not endorsed by any of those brands, sadly not, place a bet. I always like a Radio 4 tip because they're a bit wild, they're a bit weird, and sometimes they pay off. And Giles Corran today, the journalist, he got a 17-2. He paid £40 and he got a very good return. So look at his Twitter if you want to see exactly what he got. He was very happy with his outcome. I so wish instead of this, I was in Cheltenham. I'd love to be in Cheltenham. I love the Roar. Roar! The Cheltenham Roar. Yes, it's a fabulous thing. The Irish Raiders versus the English. The Irish are obviously much better when it comes to horses, but we English love to try. There's the silly, stupid fashion parade that's led rubbish. Not interested in that. Absolutely boring. Silly fools who wear stupid clothes. For me, it's the horses, and the horses. That's what matters at Cheltenham. Cheltenham is a festival for horse racing lovers. Royal Ascot is the fashion parade. If you want to go to, a thing like that where you think it's a bit of a society gathering, you go to Car Park 1 and have your picnic and all that. I prefer Cheltenham. Cheltenham is a raw racing festival. It is the celebration of the year of horse racing. Every racing person loves Cheltenham. We prefer Cheltenham to Royal Ascot, to be honest. So there you go. That's my view on that. Peaky Blinder says there are too many drunk and disorderly at Cheltenham. Well, there's too many. It's not as bad as Royal Ascot, I can tell you that. Cheltenham is yes, there are a lot of people who get drunk in this Guinness village. Yes, but depends on which part of the racetrack you go to. So it depends. Victoria likes Fontainebleau. Yes, well, Lots of French breads won today, says Victoria. Victoria is giving a good commentary here for your audience. So, Victoria, I'm going to ask you a question, Victoria. Do you have any tips for tomorrow for our viewers? Now, viewers, listen in carefully. Victoria is a champion jockey and also has become a trainer. Let's give you a few tips. If Victoria is prepared, is there anything that Victoria would tip? So let's see what Victoria has to say if she wishes to give an option. She probably doesn't, but I'm asking just in case. There we go. Who do I fancy in the Gold Cup? I haven't looked at the form yet, so I'll be commenting on that later in the week. I usually give tips to all my followers myself, but unfortunately I don't have what's called a VPN because this stupid Brexit, this stupid French thing doesn't allow my VPN to work, so I can't trick the system and I can't get in. It worked in November when I was here. It doesn't work now, so I'm not able to even access my Ladbrokes account, which is very, very frustrating because I would have liked to have done what Giles Corran did, and I would have placed a bet on that horse, and I would have won some money, but I didn't get access because this VPN doesn't work. I can't watch ITV. I can't watch the BBC. I can't do anything without this VPN. It's got all the memory, but it just doesn't work. I don't know why it doesn't work, but I'm technologically inept, as you all know. It's very frustrating to not be able to understand the modern age. I understand bits of paper. That's me. I write everything down, and I keep my bits of paper. You don't realize how many boxes of paper I've got. It's unbelievable. You want a tip for the Grand National? Well, we're not nearly at that stage, so let's not go there yet. You like Chester races. Chester is a nice race course, but it's not my favorite, no. I've been there, but I wouldn't say it's the best race course. I like Cheltenham because Cheltenham is the best of the best. You get the best and the best horses in the world compete there. Royal Ascot, you get some pretty good horses as well, but it's a different kind of racing. If you want the big festivals. And Goodwood. Goodwood is superb. I love Goodwood. It's a lovely place to sit and watch racing. Brighton is a wonderful racetrack. Cartmel is the obscure one. Love that very much. Absolutely superb place. Redcar. I enjoy Redcar. I get a lot of winners at Redcar. Newcastle. I like Newcastle. Where don't I like? Right. There we go. Mine's a double on Friday in Fontainebleau, says Victoria. Here's your tip for the day. Bet on mine's a double on Friday in Fontainebleau, which has nothing to do with Cheltenham, but there's a tip from Victoria. So we've got a tip. So let's see whether mine's a double, which is a great name for a horse, could win there. Did I ever go to the Chesterfield dog track? Lauren, no, sadly I didn't. I was born actually in Chesterfield, Derbyshire. The place with the crooked spire. But no, I never went to the Chesterfield dog track because it probably closed down years ago. There are no dog tracks left anywhere. It's very sad. I think, it's a great shame we don't have the great sport of dog racing in Britain anymore. It's a wonderful thing. I'd love to be able to go and watch such, but no, I never got to go to the Chesterfield dog track. I have a fancy microphone. Yes. It kind of works as long as you can hear me. Josie, can you hear me loud and clear, Josie? Thank you for commenting on my microphone. I don't know if it's any use or not, but there we go. Do I like Aintree? That's okay. Not my favorite, but it's all right. What year was I born? Asks Josie. 1981. There you go. Right. What do I look for in a horse when betting? Trainer, past performance, ground, jockey, and how many tips it gets for other tipsters. That's 5 things. Yeah, that's what I do. And then I would analyze such, and then I choose 2 horses, and I generally go each way. That's how I generally bet. And normally that pays off, but not all the time. Of course, it can be a complete wipeout. It can be a total disaster. You can lose your house. But I only bet small, so I'm not a crazy better. I do apologize for the noise again in the background. It's just, I'm meant to be able to do this program with quiet, but grunting is not helpful. There we go. I do apologize. Do I prefer the jumps or the flat? I think that the jumps races are more interesting, but the intensity of the flat is fantastic. So, I like Newcastle because it's quick. Yeah, I do like that. There we go. Have I ever ridden a top horse? No, I'm not a jockey, so I'm far too big to be a jockey, and I'm far too fat. I would never ever be able to do that. I'm a fat person, so I can't manage it, can I? There we go. Right. Do I remember the name of the horse in A Rent-A-Ghost? Asks Matt. No, I don't remember the horse in the Rent-A-Ghost. There we are. You're not fat. Well, I think I am. I think I've got a bit too chubby, to be honest. So there we go. We all get fat as we get older, and that's the strange thing, isn't it? No. Could do with losing some weight. But there we are. You are remembering Red Rum. Well, Red Rum was a fantastic horse, as was Sugar, and great horses. So there we are. Rent-A-Ghost was great coming home from school. I don't know much about Rent-A-Ghost, so I can't possibly comment. Mr. Lee Kicker says he gets more attractive every day. Well, Mr. Lee Kicker, we haven't seen a photograph of you yet, have we? So there we go. But I'm sure you're a very attractive gentleman, and I'm sure you're very happy with life. Are we going to do ghost stories on Thursday? Well, it depends on where I am in the world, but I will do ghost stories on Thursday, yes. Yeah, I'd like to talk about the ghosts of Levens Hall. So if you want to look into ghosts, look up Levens Hall. That's one of the most interesting places that I've experienced such things. And the hotel opposite the BBC, I forget its name. The hotel opposite the BBC has one of the most haunted rooms in the world. So that's a very interesting thing, and I will be talking about that. So, but I won't mention the name of the hotel for now because I can't remember it. It's not that I'm being anything other than just forgetful. So I do apologize. I haven't been thinking about the ghost thing yet. I'll think about that on the 13th. So, if the 13th is a good day to think about ghosts. Right. Yes, Mr. Gorse is here. My school teacher, my French teacher from school, Mr. Gorse. Hello, Mr. Gorse. Welcome. You say Levens Hall is just up the road from where you live. So, indeed, it is. The Baguette family. It's a lovely place. This old Levens Hall, the best topiary garden in the world. They are the king and queen of topiary, the people who live there. And it's been there for hundreds of years. And yes, they allegedly upset somebody, but we'll come to the story of the ghosts on the 13th. So we'll save that for another day. So there we go. Right. We shall move along to my next story. I'm ready for that now. I have to say, I don't need any more interruptions, but God knows what I'm going to get.
Might need a few.
I apologize again for the latest interruption. Very rude, absolutely shocking. I don't need interruptions in my program. It is not correct, and it's not fair, and it's totally wrong. So I won't be doing this program in the setting ever again. And I think as of tomorrow, we'll figure out what's going on in my life. I really have to focus on my work, and my work is being interrupted in this setting. So, and you are having to put up with this appalling noise in the background.
Is anybody objecting?
Many of them.
Oh, I don't believe that.
Anyway, I don't need a debate with a stupid woman in the background who is ruining the program. So I need to focus on my program. It is absolutely awful that this person could not have the dignity and civility to be quiet whilst I do my program. So I'm really very sorry to you all that we're getting yet more rubbish in the background. Anyway, I'm going to talk about another topic. I don't need any more from that. So today, the Canadian president-to-be, Mark Carney, has been declared by James Cirone of thedailymail.com to have what's called a Ghislaine Maxwell problem. Yeah, well, it's a very interesting story, this, because I have a backstory that he definitely does not have on this particular matter. Ghislaine is locked up until 2042. She won't be leaving the prison until 2042. Donald Trump is not going to be giving this woman a pardon, very likely, because he's absolutely terrified of her, because she knows a bit too much, and she's a chatty old soul like her old father when it suits. She shuts her gob when she wants to shut her gob. She's locked up in the Tallahassee facility. I don't need you shouting at me in the background.
I think it's a vulgar word.
This woman in the background is ruining this program as usual.
It's vulgar to speak like that.
I'm going to end this program shortly because it's been ruined by this woman. She's absolutely ruined my show. I'm very sorry. I'm allowed to speak in whatever way I want on my TV show. It's my show, and you should put a sock in it, woman. Shame on you.
Speak the Queen's English.
Coming from a woman who doesn't even know how to say please or thank you. Right. Anyway, I don't need a debate with her. She's ruined this program for the third day in a row. Absolutely appalling. I'm very, very sorry. Yes, you like her interjections to be stopped. Yes. Stop it. Right. Stop it. Be quiet. Right. I will carry on speaking about this story, which is actually an interesting story because I have a different take on it. And I'm not going to be interrupted by some mad woman who keeps shouting, who has no right to intervene. You do not intervene in other people's programs. It's completely incorrect. So, Mark Carney may have a problem because she still has the potential to wreak havoc on his future. They recently released some photographs of her with him and his wife. These were held at the Poshstock Wilderness Music Festival in Oxfordshire. I attended the 2013 August Wilderness Festival. It was at the home of Cornbury Park. A friend of my father's was the manager of Cornbury Park, and another friend of mine tried to rent Cornbury Park, but there we go. Lord Roverick is the owner, Robin Kaiser. Ghislaine Maxwell was an old friend of Lady Roverick, who's called Tanya. She's a great friend of Tanya, allegedly. I don't know whether that's true or not, but that's what I have been told by one of my society sources who knows both of them. Well, knew both of them because nobody knows Ghislaine anymore because nobody gets to talk to Ghislaine unless you ring the prison. And not many people want to bother. So Ghislaine is either stirring the pot. I don't believe it. Or a man who is causing a lot of trouble is stirring the pot. Now, the man stirring the pot is a character who is called a political rival called Pierre Poilievre. He's a rival politician in Canada. Mr. Carney is down 10 points in the polls. So he alleges that the photo spreading is down to him. Now, really, Mark Carney? Mark Carney, you chose to go hanging around with the grubby groper Ghislaine. She is a filthy piece of rubbish. She's disgusting. She's a sexual abuser. She's a convicted sex trafficker. And, you know, you were quite happy. And as they say, Mark Carney and his wife, Diana, looked quite at ease standing next to Maxwell. They were quite chummy. And then you laid down on the grass with her. Laying down on the grass with this wicked woman. Since it does question your judgment, Mark Carney. You're not a good man, Mr. Carney, in this sense. Anyway, it was in 2013, Oxfordshire, obviously, and you're trying to blame your rivals for spreading the photographs. You posed for the photographs. They're not fake photographs, so shame on you. Absolutely. I'm appalled at your lack of judgment, Carney. But I will come to you now, Mr. Carney. Right. I have so many bits of paper. I have to find the bits of paper, and I've been distracted by this situation. I really am very upset, and I won't be doing it in this situation again. So Mark Carney was director of the Bank of England from 2013 to 2020. And meanwhile, he worked with a lady who I happen to know. This is where the story gets very interesting. Another director of the bank was a lady called Sandra Boss. She was there 2014 to 2020. So she was there for the entire tenure of Mark Carney. Sandy, as she now calls herself, was a lady I met many years ago. I met her at a dinner party in Knightsbridge. Sandy, I didn't know who Sandy was. Sandy seemed like a very nice lady, and I'm sure she is a very nice lady. But Sandy's had a very strange life. Sandy, Sandra is her real name, Sandra Boss. She was a very senior partner at McKinsey before she worked for the Bank of England, and now currently she is a senior managing director at BlackRock UK. Sandra was married to a man who many of you may have heard of. He's a murderer and he's a kidnapper, and he's called Clark Rockefeller under one name, but his real name is actually Christian Gerhardt Snyder. He is in prison in California. He is imprisoned for the custodial kidnapping of his own daughter, who was called Snooks. Her real name was Ray Boss. And the first-degree murder of a poor man called Jonathan Sohus. He allegedly murdered many more people. He was a complete fake. He was a fake Rockefeller, absolute liar. No, it's an interesting story, isn't it? So there we go. Mark Carney's connections with strange people of things odd that happen to them. We've got Ghislaine Maxwell, sex trafficker. We've got the wife of a killer and a kidnapper. Mark Carney does not seem to be a man who is capable of good judgment. Is this a man fit to be president of Canada? There you go. There's my question to you. There's my question. So that's enough on Mark Carney for the evening. Right. You're all asking lots of questions. You hate Carney here in Canada. Thank you. We need help. Well, Kathy, I've just given you a load of evidence about Mark Carney's associations with crooked people, because it's not just Ghislaine that he's associated with. The people he hangs around with. A little bit questionable, hey? You keep asking me about Rupert Lowe. I'm told you already. We'll talk about Rupert Lowe another day. No more about Rupert Lowe. Not interested tonight. Thank you. Save Canada. Yes. Pleased to see you here tonight. A lot of people posed with Ghislaine. Yes. But they didn't lie down on the floor with her at a fancy music festival. And they didn't sleep in the same house as her. So, yeah, it's some people are more connected than others. With the address book, I have a friend. I won't name him. He's Italian. He lives in Switzerland. He's in the address book. He said, I never met this man, Epstein. I always knew Ghislaine. And it's true. There are so many of them. There's a lady I know who lives off Walton Street, Knightsbridge, in a mews. She said the same thing. Many of the people I spoke with who I checked out, but the likes of Bernie Eccleston, he snapped with all of them on a yacht with Naomi Campbell, another grifter, another bad person. And there is the victim, Virginia Roberts, on the yacht with Naomi in the outfit, the very same outfit worn on the night of the Prince Andrew photograph in Kinnerton Street. Those kind of situations, yes, of course, those situations are people who are multiple linked. Peter Mandelson, I think maybe about 12 phone numbers in the address book. You don't have 12 phone numbers for somebody if you don't know them intimately. But the likes of the lady who lived in the Mews house, there was just one phone number and a fax number because everybody had a fax number in those days. So one phone number, one fax. I think that means less of a relationship than Peter Mandelson, who there were 12 phone numbers for. Let me give you another one. Let's think. Who else was in that address book in a big way? It's a shocker. You could have every number for Prince Andrew and the Duchess of York. There are about 30 phone numbers for those two. 30 phone numbers. Ridiculous. That means that you are closely associated with such people. That you've got the phone number for their car, their office, their driver, anything. But some of these people, I met a man recently. He said, I was in a photograph with Jeffrey. I didn't even know who Jeffrey was because I'd worked with him at Bear Stearns. He said, my brother dated Ghislaine. And he said, we didn't know why we ended up in this address book, but we did. That's how it is. This address book was Ghislaine's address book. Ghislaine is one of the most wicked, evil bitches on the planet. She's a manipulative, evil, sex trafficking, horrible person. She used and abused people, young people, who she called trash. She referred to them as trash to Christina Oxenberg and others. And Christina is a lovely lady, nice lady. I've had very good conversations with her, correspondence with her. This is wrong. This address book, many people in that address book are innocent. Annabelle Heseltine, the Heseltine family, they barely knew the Maxwells. The Maxwells collected this information because they thought it would make them look better. I could go and write down the address of whoever I wanted and put it in an address book and say they're my friend, but they're not. But that's what they did. And this address book is not Jeffrey Epstein's address book. It is Ghislaine Maxwell's address book, because most of the addresses are British, other than the prostitutes and the masseurs. The things at the end are all written in a different font. So I don't believe anything about this being the Epstein address book. It's the Ghislaine Maxwell address book. Ghislaine Maxwell was the chief of the municipality, and the assistant was the woman who I spoke about yesterday, Sarah Kellen. Sarah Kellen is another crook in this story. She's a filthy, disgusting crook. Absolutely appalling. Absolutely appalling. It's disgusting that anyone would believe otherwise. Why are people sticking up for Tommy Robinson, Waxy Lemon, as you call him? But they're all mad. They're all like Stephen. They're all like Andrew Tate. Absolutely awful. Right. Right. The next thing you want to ask. Anyway, no, I think I've covered my topic very concisely on that front also. So I'll throw that piece of paper away. And now I'll come to my next topic, which is the Menendez brothers. Yes. So I know many of you have very strong views about the Menendez brothers, and it is shocking and disgraceful and wrong how this Hockman, D.A. Nathan Hockman, he deserves to be thrown in a bin. He's disgusting. I'm very angry with D.A. Nathan Hockman. He is a pest. He's a pain in the arse. He's a nuisance. He's absolutely awful. Right. Jane says, good night, everyone. Well, I'm sorry you're leaving, Jane. A shame about that. The Menendez brothers should be freed, says Keeley. Yes. Before I begin, anyway, today on Twitter, the hashtag Justice for Eric and Lyle campaign said, at this point, who even wants to hear anything that comes out of Hockman's mouth anymore? I'm tired of him. We all are. Nothing he says is intelligent or remarkably true. So let's please stop giving this incel the time of day. I totally agree with hashtag Justice for Eric and Lyle. Eric and Lyle should be free. It is time that they got on with us. And the 20th of March, the 21st of March, there is going to be a hearing, Van News, and Michael Juzik, LA Superior Court judge, will hear it. But I don't think that this man, this moron, D.A. Nathan J. Hockman, he is a real piece of bore. He's absolutely tedious. It's time for him to withdraw. Time for him to put a sock in it. There are many people who should put a sock in it in life, and he's one of them. I'm absolutely appalled by him. He says that they are a danger to the community. They have to prove that they're rehabilitated. They have proved they're rehabilitated. They've done wonderful things for people in jail. They help other people. They do wonderful things. They're kind-hearted. They're absolutely fabulous. They're absolutely great. They do good work. They are decent, honest, fabulous people. I'm a big fan of them. I don't care what any of you think. These two boys that were abused by mum and dad, disgusting people that they were, and who also abused other people. Let's be honest, the Menendez people, absolutely awful. He wants them to accept full insight into crimes, and they tell lies. He's saying they're telling lies about self-defense, perjury, whatever. They should come clean. They should give a sincere acknowledgement. And you've got wine next to you. Your wine's right next to you.
Where?
Oh, for God's sake. She wants wine. I do apologize. There's wine right next to you on your table. I gave you 2 glasses. Honestly, I do apologize, viewers.
That's another glass, sir.
ruining my show yet again. Thank you. Thank you ever so much. I do apologize, viewers. There we go. I'm trying to talk about a serious issue, and I get this. Do you understand why I get so upset? Well, I'm not going to be doing this ever again. This is the end today. I do apologize. Eric Menendez was arrested. I'm talking about a serious issue here. Eric was arrested 35 years ago today. I don't need to talk about nonsense. Enough is enough, says Tammy Menendez, who was a partner of his. Absolutely appalling. I think that, Hockman is the liar. Shame on Hockman. And, today on...
Sorry if I have to cough.
My program is yet again interrupted. I can't do anything without interruption today, and I'm really never going to do this ever again. I'm so upset. It's been ruined for the third day in a row. I'm very, very sorry.
I'm sorry if I have to cough.
No, it's not correct that I have to I need peace. So I can't do my program with all of this. Totally wrong. Yes, why do certain kinds of people think they're funny? They're not funny at all. No, you're quite right, Bella. I agree with you. Yes, Jack Smith, I agree with you. Bess, I agree with you. There we are. Anyway, I've really had enough, but and we are going to manage to do this quiz, and then I'm closing the whole thing down because I can't do much more of it. But I will finish off with a bit of analysis about a wonderful gentleman, an absolute genius, an absolute great, Mark Garagos, who is the lawyer for the Menendez. He's a fabulous man. He took on the dreadful woman from NBC News Today Show, Savannah Guthrie. Savannah, you really are the Burke in the barn. You're like the village idiot. You're an absolute twerp. I don't like you. I think you're absolutely appalling. Anyway, Mark Garagos went on her show, and he rightly said, the family members say, stop re-traumatizing us. They are not interested in the victims. There isn't a single victim who endorses this. Stop it. And this moron who claims she's been brought up as a lawyer, she's Australian. She's a very strange woman. She wrote a book called where's the book? I haven't got a book written down here. I thought I had. Anyway, I've lost the name of the book. Mostly What God Does is the title of her book. This mad woman, stupid blonde bimbo bimbette, she's a pain in the arse. She's a complete nuisance, and she should actually learn to understand communication before she decides to speak. I've got to check my power. My power on my computer is not powering up, so I do apologize. Yet another situation because of the stress that I've been placed under. I won't be doing this ever again. Ever. Right. Anyway, sorry about that. There you go. I'm not good at technology. I have to have people around me. Now it's all come out again. Anyway. Oh, God. This is an absolute laughable joke. Ruined again. I won't be doing this ever again. I do apologize. It's time for me to move to Scotland, and that's where I'm going. I don't want to be doing this ever again. So enough is enough. Tomorrow's the day. Right. So I have to say, Mark Garagos speaks such great sense. He's a wonderful man. He's represented all sorts of fantastic people. I met him I didn't meet him. I spoke to him first, via the telephone in 2018 or so. He's a very, very clever man. The Hockman claims the brothers have told 16 lies, and they have to retract the 16 lies if they want to get out of prison. No. They were abused by mum and dad. They're evil people, those mother and father. And yes, they admit they should not have shot their mother and father, but that does not mean that mother and father didn't abuse them, given that 61 witnesses, most of whom were members of the family, were prepared to testify that mum and dad were horrible abusers. And then we have Menendez, another person who claims that dad abused them. So let's stick with the truth here. This is a disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace that Hockman tells lies. Hockman is the liar here. And, they claimed imperfect self-defense, not self-defense. It is a certain way of defending yourself. And that is what they say. Trotting out the same old things, it's appalling. Says Garagos. Directed a verdict, second time around. At least the facts are out there. We know the facts. We all know the facts. This is a story where the truth needs to be told. The Menendez brothers should be free. There are 3 types of proceedings that can go ahead: the resentencing, the habeas corpus, or the clemency. The clemency, I hope Gavin Newsom, and I knew Gavin when he was mayor of San Francisco. I know Gavin's sister very, very well. Lovely lady. I knew Gavin, when he ran the Plump Jack Cafe and the Matrix Bar, which I used to go to when I was in San Francisco all the time. I had great times in, his places. And Gavin is a clever man. Gavin was married to the horrible woman that became the girlfriend of Donald Trump Jr. And now they've split up, and she's going to be ambassador to Greece. But, everything's a bit weird and wacky with all these people. Gavin has had his own problems. My friend Justin, who I won't give his surname because I don't want to embarrass him, he was very involved in lots of things with Gavin, and he still is. Lots of people hate Gavin because they don't like him. They think he's a bit woke, and they think he's a bit weird. But I've always said to Gavin, come on, do something for these people. And I've been saying it for years. And Gavin seems to be listening. So, Gavin, thank you, Gavin. And I hope you actually do something. The best person in this entire story is a man called Robert Rand. He is the journalist who's worked on the case ever since it began. He has spoken with Eric and Lyle ever since it began. And he is the most brilliant man. I would like to meet you one day, Robert. I'm very sorry I've never met you, because I think you are the most fascinating gentleman I've ever come across, because you're campaigning for 35 years for these two victims of sexual abuse by mum and dad. You've been brilliant, and you go and visit them in the facility. We all helped to try and campaign, like you led these campaigns to get them put in the same prison after 22 years apart. At least they could be together. They were allowed to play chess via the mail, so you could do one move at a time. How many weeks did that take? These two poor young men who were locked in their bedrooms by mum and dad for days on end, these horrible, evil parents, they were the most disgusting people, rich, revolting people. Some people care more about money and drugs and alcohol than anything else. And that mother was an alcoholic bitch, and the father was a monster. The program was called Monsters. The monster was Jose Menendez. In this story, but people said, why did they kill mother? She turned to them and said, I'd rather they had sex with you than with me. She encouraged her husband to abuse her children. She is a monster. They reacted. Now, their behavior, they have admitted, was wrong. You cannot go around shooting people. It's not correct. But they have been in prison now for 30 odd years. I salute the Menendez brothers for the way they have campaigned for victims of sexual abuse, because at that time, nobody's allowed to talk about men being raped, because you're not allowed to talk about men being raped. A man being raped is an unacceptable thing. If they'd been girls that had been treated differently, they would have been given clemency, of course, straight away. And it's terrible what happened to Eric and Lyle Menendez. And I'm very glad for the last 10 years I've campaigned for Eric and Lyle Menendez. There we go. So there we go. And as for this dreadful woman, what's her name? I've lost it on my piece of paper because, you see, I'm being put off. Savannah Guthrie. Today's show. I'm so pleased that Mark Garagos trashed her. Savannah, you're a useless waste of space. You are appalling. And you don't even know anything about the law. You're a fool and you're a freak. So why don't you put your blonde bimbo back in the bin bag where you belong? So bog off, Savannah Guthrie. Don't like you for the way you're not a news presenter. You don't even ask questions. You're just a moron. You're worse than the village idiot. Shame on you, Savannah. I'm very upset with you. Right. Yes. Why doesn't Gavin campaign to release them, Josie? Yes, Gavin is discussing the option of clemency. Gavin is actually doing the right thing. So I'm not criticizing Gavin at this stage. Hockman is a complete piece of turd. He's disgusting, absolutely revolting. It's a heavy topic, says Jake. Well, yeah, it might be, but the Menendez brothers deserve justice. And the 20th of March, the 21st of March is going to be the big day. and I'm going to call Mark Geragos because I have spoken with him before. Whether he takes my call, that's his choice. I'd like to speak with him. They're not twins, Thrassie and Grapes. They are psychologically damaged from prison, yes. Well, I hope that they get millions in compensation. That's what I would hope for, because all their money was taken away. You know, everyone claims that all they did this for was to get the money. There's no money left. It's gone. It's completely spent. So there we go. You know, it's a bit like Jeremy Bamber, and I want justice for Jeremy. Hashtag justice for Jeremy. Hashtag justice for Eric and Lyle. I have chosen certain cases to support. Omar Benguit, Mark Alexander, and these people. I do not support Lucy Letby. Lock up Lucy Letby. That's a hashtag I would support also. I think she's a witch. She's an absolute bitch. And I'm not going to ever believe that she's innocent, whatever happens in the story, because I think she's a very evil, vile woman. So I don't believe everybody is innocent. Is innocent. There are plenty of other cases where I believe people are guilty. And I've written lots about guilty people and exposed the story of their guilt. But in these cases, there is injustice. And in Britain, we have this thing, the CCRC, the Criminal Cases Review Commission. It is jolly well time we had justice for these people. We need justice. There we are. Stay calm. Right. Okay, well, I'm going to try and stay calm, but I do get very upset about injustice. I don't like injustice. Injustice is a terrible thing. Savannah plays the devil's advocate, no matter who she interviews. You are quite right, Lisa. Lisa, you've got Savannah right within a T. You are the brilliant analyst. I have to agree with you. All Savannah wants to do is create a spark. She's a pest. Savannah should be sent back to Australia, the land of the convicts, where she belongs. I love Australian people, but honestly, Savannah is not a fit person to be an American interviewer. She asks weak questions, and she's a shameful person. Don't like Savannah. No thanks. No thanks to Savannah. Right. Anyway, next stage of the game is the quiz.
Any wine in this fridge?
Well, here we are. I'm getting questions for wine. Well, why don't you just sit down and I'll bring you some wine? You're ruining my program as usual. You've absolutely ruined the whole program.
What are you doing?
You're just ruining my program as usual.
I could have done it myself. Why are you bashing the chairs?
Well, why don't you just sit down? There you go. You've got a whole bottle of bloody wine, which I bought for you. Anyway, so I'm very sorry, viewers. The screaming in the background yet again, ruining my program. Absolutely appalling. All she wants is wine. It's absolutely sickening to have someone who cannot behave herself. I do apologize. We'll do the quiz and then I'll end this program because now, yet again, for the third night in a row, my program has been totally ruined by someone. It's not very nice to have to deal with this, but I won't be doing it again. So it will be, everything is over from tomorrow. So there we go.
Oh.
It's been one of the worst days of my life, actually. So
What?
it's been one of the worst days of my life having to deal with this kind of behavior, shouting and yelling and all sorts of other nonsense. It's not very pleasant. So I can't deal with any more of this, and I won't be. So there we go. My first question is, in which Kentish town on the Isle of Thanet is Viking Bay to be found? I need someone to take notes on the questions, please. If one of you could do this, it would be helpful. Right, Mother Duck will take notes. So the first question again is, in which Kentish town on the Isle of Thanet is Viking Bay to be found? It's not Hastings. No, it's not Dover. It's not Ramsgate. Stevie D gets the point. It's Broadstairs. Yes. Stevie D, can we give a point, Mother Duck, to Stevie D? Thank you to Mother Duck. Right. In which years did Julius Caesar make attempts to invade Britain? We have two options here. We've got two options. You've got two options for years. I will accept either option. He made... No, which year, not where. It wasn't 200 BC, no. It wasn't 1666. Julius Caesar had nothing to do with 1666, no. I will accept the first answer, which comes from Stevie D. So 2 points to Stevie D, 55 BC. So the first attempt was at Pegwell Bay in Kent, which was also on the Isle of Thanet, but that was in 54 BC. So no, you got the different one, but we'll allow your answer. Your answer is correct. In which year at the Conservative Party conference did Margaret Thatcher drape her handkerchief over the world image tail fin of a model British Airways aircraft? And she declared, "We fly the British flag, not these awful things." It was not 1985, it wasn't 1986, it wasn't 1979, no. It wasn't 1982, it wasn't 1984, it wasn't 1993. No. I'm very surprised you don't know this. It wasn't 1991. No. None of you seem to be anywhere in the room. The Thracian Grapes gets the point. Well done to the Thracian Grapes. Can we please, Mother Duck, give a point to the Thracian Grapes? The answer is 1997. I was there myself. The year William Hague became leader of the Conservative Party. I was present and correct at the event. So I'm probably in a photograph. I was on the front page of the Daily Telegraph in one photograph, but there we go. Photograph. I hate it, but I have it framed somewhere. It's somewhere in storage. Anyway, never mind. If you want to find a horrible photograph of me, it's from the 1997 the Conservative Party conference, because I was literally on the cover page. Right. Which beverage is most associated with the Cheltenham Festival? Is my next question. There have been over 270,000 pints of it expected to be served. The price has gone up from £7.50 to £7.80. It's not gin and it's not champagne, but Minty. Minty gets a point. So Mother Duck, note down Minty. Minty gets the point with Guinness. It is Guinness. What is the name of the pub in the soap opera Coronation Street? Thinking of pubs and boozing. Pipfield gets the point immediately. Well done to Pipfield with the Rovers' return. Well done to Pipfield. Let's note down Pipfield as the point taker. Where was the forced out of Reform UK Rupert Lowe MP elected to represent in 2024? What was his constituency? What was the constituency of Rupert Lowe? Minty gets, yes, another point. Well done, Minty. I think you probably go into the lead now, Minty. It is Great Yarmouth. Well done. Who is the billionaire co-owner of Manchester United, who also happens to own a car company called Grenadier? What is his name? Minty gets the third point with Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Well done to Minty. Minty is well in the lead. Minty, whoever you are, Minty, you are a bit of a... You're quick. You got the fastest finger forward, and you know your jokes. So you're doing well. Right. Which plant was imported from Oceania to the Var region of France, i.e., Saint-Tropez, over 100 years ago? What is the name of the plant?
Mimosa.
It wasn't grapes, it wasn't banana. Yes, we have had shouting in the background, but the shouting in the background is not included. Michelle 2003 gets to agree with Lady Min. It is the mimosa. There are over 800 to 1,200 species of it, of the dazzling yellow color. And there is, of course, a mimosa festival in Saint Maxime. But there we go. Where was the composer of the original score to James Marsh's The Theory of Everything, Johann Johansson, born in 1969? Where was he born? A very interesting man. Where was Johann Johansson born? It wasn't Sweden. It wasn't Austria. No. Germany? No. Vienna? No.
Never born.
Zurich? No, but he was born in Iceland. I can accept Iceland. He was born in Reykjavik. He died aged 48 in 2018 after a lethal combination of cocaine and flu medication. The Theory of Everything, I love the music. He was one of the most brilliant composers. A life taken too soon, 48 years old to die then. That's a terrible age to die. Terrible him. Right. The next question to you is, which actor and reality star played Sol Patrick in Hollyoaks from 1997 to 2001 and later appeared in Love Island? Which actor? You need to name him. He died recently. Poor man. He's another one who's dead. He's another one who's brown bread. It wasn't David Easter and it wasn't Michael Barrymore. Michael Barrymore is sadly still alive. He's one person I would not miss. Stevie D wins the point. So Stevie D gets the point. Let's give Stevie D a point for Paul Danan. Right, next question. What is the name of the current Pope? Now, we have two options for this because the Pope, of course, has a name and then he has a papal name. So I'll accept the first one. Right. Minty says Pope Francis. Yes. Okay, we'll accept Pope Francis. That is his name. So Minty gets another point. Well, Minty is well in the lead. I don't know how many points you've got, but our point taker is writing it down. But of course, his other name is George Mario Bergoglio. There you go. In which year was Facebook launched? In which year was Facebook launched? Minty is the quizmaster, says Jake. Yes, I agree with you. It was not 2007 or 1990. Minty gets another point. Oh, Minty is like the queen of the quiz. It's 2004. It was launched on the 4th of February that year. In fact, it's 21 years old today. Not today, but recently. Now, this is next door to where I grew up, so I have a lot of knowledge of this place. What is the name of the Duke of Westminster's estate in Lancashire, Abbeystead? Oh dear, I've just given you the answer. That was rather stupid of me. Okay, I'll ask another question. What is the name? What is the size of the Duke of Westminster's estate, Abbeystead, in Lancashire? I'll ask you that question because I just stupidly gave away the answer. How many thousand acres is Abbeystead? It's not 230. No. No. It's not 2,000. It's not.
120.
It's not 5,000. Lady Min here is shouting in the background. 120. She's miles away. It's not 10,000. It's not 23,000. Right. It was my fault for asking the wrong question. You love Lady Min shouting, which is why I got put off.
I grew up next to him. And I know how many acres he's got.
You don't know anything about Lancashire.
What?
They bought it in 1981.
I grew up next to the Duke of Westminster.
They didn't buy this place till 1981 from Lord Sefton. So you don't know anything about it. It's nothing to do with you. It's not 120,000. That's a little bit of an exaggeration. Okay. I apologize. I ruined the question myself because I was having noise in the background. So what is the size? Closest. I'll accept. Right. Well, the answer was 18,000 to my question.
Well, not far off.
She didn't have anything to do with
I said 2,000.
2,000 and 18,000.
You've got 18,000 acres there.
Yes.
No way.
She doesn't even, this woman doesn't even listen to the question. She's not even.
I lived there next door to him.
Oh, can you be quiet? The Abbeystead is in Lancashire. It's nothing to do with Cheshire. It's 18,000 acres.
Lancashire changed their name from Cheshire to Lancashire.
No, they didn't. I don't need a row with you. Shut up.
They did.
They have a different estate in Cheshire to Lancashire, you stupid woman. Please be quiet. Can you shut up? I'm very sorry, viewers. the woman doesn't understand that the Eaton Hall estate in Cheshire is a different estate to the Abbey estate in Lancashire. She likes to have her opinion, but it's not true. The truth of the matter is, Abbeystead is in Lancashire.
Where they live now.
They have multiple homes around the world.
No.
And their home in Lancashire is different to their home in Cheshire. So please stop
The one
in.
in Cheshire is where they live now.
Can you shut up?
Cheshire.
Can you shut up? You've ruined my program again.
Oh.
Shut up! I have to shout. I'm very sorry, viewers, but she doesn't listen. She doesn't listen. Eaton Hall in Chester is very different to Abbeystead House in Lancashire. Abbeystead.
They live in Chester.
She doesn't have a clue. She doesn't know anything about the story.
I know all about it. I live 14 miles away.
You don't live next to Abbeystead House.
Which one?
You don't live anywhere near Abbeystead. It's in Lancashire. I'm sorry. I didn't know my quiz would cause such a row. I've really got sick of this. I grew up in Lancashire. Abbeystead.
And you didn't live anywhere near Chester.
This mad woman is not listening. And shut up! Don't ruin my quiz. Be quiet. Honestly, I do apologize, viewers. I've had enough. I can't deal with much more of this. So, Abbeystead is an 18,000-acre estate that the Duke of Westminster bought in 1980. The estate holds the record for the biggest grouse bag in a single day. 2,929 birds were shot on the grouse moor, which is nowhere near Chester. Chester does not have a grouse moor, so the woman is talking a load of old horse shit, by 8 guns on the 12th of August, 1915. So, please, it was an estate that was formerly owned by Lord Sefton. I grew up at the neighbouring place, so I spent my life growing up there. The Forest of Bowland. This lady is trying to deny that the Duke of Westminster owns the Abbeystead estate. She is talking an absolute load of rubbish. Abbeystead is in Lancashire. It's near Lancaster. It's near Garstang. It's near Preston. And the Duke of Westminster owns 18,000 acres of land there. I can't believe she's trying to cause a row over a quiz question. This is what I have to deal with. It's ridiculous because I am telling the truth, because that is where I spent my childhood. I grew up in the Forest of Bowland. And this lady is trying to tell me that the Duke of Westminster was not my neighbor because he lived in Chester. He did have he has an estate in Chester, but he also happened to have an estate in Lancashire, which was called Abbeystead. Abbeystead he bought from the Earl of Sefton. And I don't need anyone trying to correct me. So this historical load of old horse shit needs to be corrected. Sorry, it's not fair. It's not correct that I'm having someone screaming in the background a load of old rubbish. And this woman is talking today.
Talk something. You talk a load of rubbish.
You talk a load of rubbish. Abbeystead is in Lancashire.
I'm sorry, the Duke of Westminster did not grow up in Lancashire.
Oh, well, she now denies that he had an estate in Lancashire. Well,
he did not grow up in Lancashire.
She just wants to tell lies. So there we go. So anyway, I'll move on from that question. What is the date of the 12th of August primarily associated with? And I don't want her to answer a single more question. Shut your mouth, really, please.
Well, I was born on the 10th of August, so I can't answer it.
Wine does funny things. Yes, I agree. The Forest of Bowland is a lovely place. Yes. And yes, the Duke of Westminster owns 18,000 acres of the Forest of Bowland. Yes, correct. Yes, the grouse season starts. And Ptarmigan. It's commonly known as the Glorious 12th. So we'll take the first of you, Pipfield. Well done, Pipfield. I want to get this whole thing over now because I'm sick of this screaming in the background. In which year was Paris Hilton born? Paris is a lovely young lady. I like Paris. We were born in the same year, so I have an opinion. So, what year was Paris Hilton born in? I love her parents, Kathy and Rick. Lovely people. Very nice. Oh gosh, loads of you are answering this. I can't keep up. You all seem to know the answer. It wasn't 1980. No. Elaine Harvey wins the point. 1981. No. Paris was born on the 17th of February, and I was born on the 27th of January. So, cheers to Paris. Paris is a lovely young lady. And her parents, Rick and Kathy, nice people. What kind of person is a chav? That is my next question. What is a chav? Define a chav.
Looks like Matthew Steeples, Bruce Baker.
The mad woman is screaming abuse, and it's not very nice.
Oh, greased back hair.
I will not be making any more programs with that woman in the background, I can assure you. I'm finished with her.
Hey, you just can't face up to it.
How dare she speak to me? But right. You used the word common, scruff. No, you don't. Right. I think Stevie D gets it. Chavez, Scally, and Roadman. Well done. You get the point. Well done. Well done.
How about that bloke?
It also is a Romany word, chavi. It's a Romany word, chavi, which means chavi. Anyway, I'm very sorry. There's shouting in the background. It's absolutely no. It's absolutely. I'm not interested in the woman shouting in the background. She's getting very boring. It's absolutely boring as hell. Right. The next question. What TV show did former footballer Dion Dublin end up presenting after he ended his sporting career? What was his TV show? What was Dion Dublin's TV show? Minty gets another point with Holmes Under the Hammer. Thank you, Minty. Right. Who introduced the disgraced ex-Barclays head honcho, Jess Staley, to Peter Mandelson, Britain's now ambassador to the US? Who was the person who introduced him that was declared in court today? Who was the introducer? It was not Tony Blair, no. No. It wasn't Prince Andrew.
Eamon Holmes.
The mad woman shouting Eamon Holmes, but it wasn't Savile, it wasn't Thatcher. Minty gets another point. Of course, it was Jeffrey Epstein, so he was the introducer. Right. Your penultimate question. What was the nickname of the stepmother of Diana, Princess of Wales? Rain Spencer, also known as the Countess Spencer, of course. Her real title was the Countess Spencer. Michelle gets the point straight away. Acid Rain, yeah, because everybody hated her. She was known as Acid Rain. She was one of the most awful people I've ever met. She's vulgar and horrible.
I'd like to know that.
Who described Rain Spencer's decorating taste as having the wedding cake vulgarity of a 5-star hotel in Monaco? Who was it who described this? It wasn't Diana, no. Diana didn't
You know that.
turn on her. It wasn't Anne Robinson. It wasn't Diana. The winner immediately is Josie, because of course it was Charles Spencer, Diana's brother. He could not stand Acid Rain. Nobody liked Acid Rain. Acid Rain was a very nasty woman. There we go. So who is our winner, please? Mother Duck. Mother Duck, I hope you...
Oh,
First place goes to Minty. Second place to Stevie D. Well done to you both. My quiz questions were very good. I do apologize for the interruptions. That was not very good. And
everybody loves me.
Lady Min claims everybody loves her.
Any comments?
I don't think they can hear her. Anyway, there we go. Elaine Harvey loves you.
Oh, thank you, Elaine.
Right.
Anybody else?
Sun 848 and Chris
Sorry.
and Francis and Bess love you.
Sam and yeah, lots of love to you too.
Eva Angel likes you.
Oh, lots of loving. I need a bit of love.
Anyway, enough is enough. So, right. Anyway, moving on to the final stage of this program. Have you any more questions for me? More questions, please. Thank you. Let's have some more questions. I cannot cope with much more of this nonsense. So, right. She just wants to be part of the night. Yes. My favorite wine. I don't do favorites. I've always told you this. Please stop asking me what is my favorite. Depends on the occasion. I've been very lucky to drink Petrus in my life. I like Chablis. I like, all sorts of things.
Few favorites.
But I don't do favorites. No.
Well, you can.
No. Can you please be quiet in the background? You're not adding to the program. Right. What's my thoughts on Zia Yusuf? Zia Yusuf sounds like a right old pain in the arse. He needs a good old slap around the face. He's a pest. Absolutely awful. Does grouse taste like quail or pheasant? No, grouse is a lot more gamey. It's a lot more rich. So no, it does not taste like pheasant. Pheasant is strong, but grouse is stronger. That's how I would probably say it. You like Chablis, but it's a bit pricey. Well, I love a bit of Chablis. That's my favorite drink, and I'm very lucky to have drunk a lot of it. My aftershave of choice. Well, I don't have any at the moment, but I would love to have some Aqua de Parma, my favorite thing on the planet. But nobody Nobody ever sent me any for my birthday. Shame on them. I didn't even get a bottle. I'd love some Aqua de Parma. So, viewers, if you want to send me a bottle of Aqua de Parma, I love Aqua de Parma. That's the nice thing. No, I don't expect you to, but I don't want anything else. That's the only thing I like. I don't like any other aftershaves. So, Aqua de Parma is my thing. I'm an addict, but I've run out of it. So that's the end of that. Right. No, not the aftershave cream. I like the aftershave, the spray. I like the spray. What time in the day do I have a gin? Well, as they say, time is only for the middle classes. If you can't have one at 11, have 11 at 1. So, no, you can have a gin and tonic whenever you want. When was my birthday? The 27th of January. Right.
What are we going to do?
Right. The next question. Right. Come on. Questions more. Yes. What is my view on Meghan calling herself Meghan Sussex? Meghan Sussex is like lady. So, okay. I once had an incident with a woman, a dreadful woman. Could you be quiet? Let me do my program. There was a dreadful woman called Tina Green, Lady Green. And she said, "You will call me Lady Tina." I said, "I won't call you Lady Tina because your title is Lady Green.
Poor Harry.
Your name is Lady Green because you are married to Sir Philip Green." Sir Philip was given the title Sir Philip Green. This Sussex woman, no, she is Meghan Mountbatten Windsor. That is her name. Her name is not Meghan Sussex. So she can't go around calling herself Meghan Sussex because it's a stupid thing, because it's not true. She's made it up. But, she has a mother called Doria Ragland. Can you imagine having a mother called Rag? Mrs. Rag. Awful name. And Mrs. Rag, well, we all know what she is. So let's not go there. So Rag and
Ragbag.
And Lady Min here has actually said something useful for once in her life. She called her the ragbag. So, yep. So we'll now call Doria the ragbag. I'm going to have to note this down.
I'm sorry to say that about somebody's mother.
She's going to call her we're going to call her the ragbag. Do you like that? Will you like Doris Toe Rag? Will Keir Starmer get removed? No, Keir Starmer will not be removed. Keir Starmer has a majority of over 170. There is no way that anyone's throwing him out of Parliament. Keir Starmer can stay there for a considerably long period of time. He's not going anywhere. The only person who's going to be thrown out will be Queen of Thieves. Rachel Reeves is going to be removed because he'll need to try and excuse his awful behavior. What he did to the pensioners, what he did to the farmers, she will go. Rachel Reeves will be removed. But that means Rayner gets promoted, which is really bad for the world. Rayner is worse. And Lady Min is even agreeing. You know, she doesn't agree with me on much, but I will tell you this. This country is going to get worse and worse and worse, the British country. I'm not in Britain, but I'm so concerned about what's going to happen under Rachel Reeves. Because Rachel Queen.
Who are we going to campaign to get?
Oh, can you be
Who
quiet?
are we going to get?
I don't need shouting in the background as usual. I can't hear. No, I'm doing a program. Stop shouting.
Okay,
You're ruining my program.
a Miliband would be better.
Oh, anyway, I don't need this woman shouting in the background. Please.
Can we go?
No, be quiet.
Can we go for a Miliband?
Anyway, she wants to shout. I can't speak. I can't continue my program if she's going to start shouting. This is what happens with this woman. Please stop it. I'm allowed to make my program. You're not meant to speak. Just be quiet. You can make your opinions known afterwards, but you're shouting into my camera.
Okay, we'll go for it.
I can't do the mute button because unfortunately there is none. Right. Yes, it is anarchy in the UK. I haven't had any mini cheddars in quite a considerable period of time. I miss mini cheddars. I'd love some mini cheddars. There we go. I'd love some mini cheddars, yes. If somebody could send me some mini cheddars and some Yorkshire tea, that's the two things that I actually need in my life right now. I would love them. I'd be very grateful. You can't buy them here. It's an absolute. Elaine Harvey is ashamed of Britain. Yes, I agree with you. Reeves is disgusting, says Nicola. I agree with you. The Queen of Thieves, the woman who harmed the farmers. I went on the November protest. I was shocked and appalled by that lot. They couldn't even come out and face us, cowards. I was there for 3 or 4 hours. Shame on them. Right. Right. Anyway.
What can you do?
Anyway, do you have any more questions for me on any other topics? Because we will now close down the matter if we don't, because it's now 10 o'clock and I am very, very tired and it's time to go to bed for me. And I think, the person with me, it's definitely time to go to bed. So, right. Let's... You would like to send me some gifts. I don't know where you could send the gifts. Don't worry, you don't need to send me gifts. That's very kind. You used to send me gifts in Broadstairs, but I can't have gifts sent to me in the south of France. It'll cost you a fortune. Far too expensive. So no. Please don't do that. If you wish to contact me, my email address is editorial@thesteepletimes.com. Okay? So if anyone wishes to contact me, that's very kind of you. But editorial@thesteepletimes.com. But miss your shows with Sean Atwood. Will you link up again, providing the topic is important to you? Well, I've been on Sean Atwood's program only last week talking about this lunatic Julia. She is a disgrace. She's a fake. She's a fraudster. And Mr. Atwood's program, yep, he likes Julia. She's a criminal that's in prison. And I believe she belongs in prison. She's a liar. She's a deceiver. She is not Madeleine McCann. Madeleine McCann, let's be honest, she didn't leave that apartment. That's the truth. There you go. I finally give you the truth. So if Madeleine McCann didn't leave that apartment, she cannot be Madeleine McCann. There was blood spatter on the curtains. There was scent of death in the cupboard. There was scent of death in the car. So how can that mad woman, who is claimed also to be two other people subsequently, she's claimed to be two other people. She's a complete nut. How can she be Madeleine McCann? She's making it up. Are you a bunch of fools? Are you worse than the village idiot? Were you born in a barn? Are you an absolute stupid fool? Seriously. Madeleine McCann is not there. I'm sorry, with millions of pounds on offer, and this freak, this fruitcake, don't encourage this loser, this liability. It's disgusting, absolutely appalling. I don't like the McCanns because I have to say, if their story is true, they are guilty of child neglect. They should have been charged with child neglect. They left the door of the house open onto the street. It was a main road. It was not into the complex of the building. It doesn't matter even if it were. But they left their child they left 3 children unattended. They paid for childcare during the day, but they didn't pay at night. Why? That is weird. There's something wacky about that. There's something not quite right there. Because they are trying to create a story, aren't they? Of course, Mr. and Mrs. McCann, they have things to... I won't say. But Mr. and Mrs. McCann, you go on my website. There's the 12 questions. I give my 12 questions every time. Why did they pay for childcare in the day, but they didn't pay for childcare at night? Surely at night would be more important. Why did they leave the door open? Why did they leave the window open? Why was the blood spatter on the curtain? Why was the cadaver dog sensing death in the cupboard? Why did the cadaver dog sense death in the car? You know, all these kind of things. I don't need to go into it. Go on the steepletimes.com. I'm not going to repeat my allegations, my views. I have met the McCanns on multiple occasions, and I'm sorry. Why didn't you, middle class people, just pay for your children to be looked after? What's wrong with you? Something wrong with you two. And you, Mr. and Mrs. McCann, Dr. McCann, You won't answer the 48 questions that were put to you by the Portuguese police. And that is the most important thing. Why would you not answer the questions in the first 48 hours that would try and help find your daughter? They tried to ask you questions. You would not answer the questions. This is behavior very strange. If you wanted your daughter found, why did you go running? Why did you go and play tennis? You know, you're photographed running and playing tennis whilst your child is missing in the first 48 hours. What's wrong with you, you people? There's something very fucked up in the head about you two. Your child is missing, and 48 hours goes by, and you are playing tennis. And then you go off to see Clement Freud, who is a convicted, is a paedophile, who lives in Praia de Luz, and you go and talk about how you had a beautiful lunch with Clement Freud, and he had vodka shots, and he had a risotto made with vodka. Your daughter is missing, and this is what you do? I think you two are a bit fucked in the brain, let's be honest.
Why?
There is something wrong with you, Miss Dr. McCann and Dr. McCann. I don't know what it is. I've met you. You see, I've had more of an experience than most. I have actually met these people. Most people haven't met them. You know, they got the mortgage paid on their house.
It doesn't matter about
They
that.
got to hang out with the Pope. They got to hang out with this, with Obama. The book is all about when they went on NetJets and when they were on holiday with Philip Green. There's something not quite right about these two. I don't know what these McCanns did, but I equally will say that this Julia woman should leave them alone, because she is a complete fake and a fraud. Let's be honest. Nothing needs to be heard more from Julia.
What happened to Madeline? She died.
They played tennis in the days after. Yes, that's correct.
What?
Claire. No, can you please be quiet now? Let my readers speak for a moment. Can you not, please? It's horrific. Yes, it is horrific. Right. You don't leave babies alone. It's shame on those two. Yep. Well, they did. There were 3 children and they left them with the door wide open. That's a fact. Why would you leave the door open onto the street? Very strange behavior. But why would you? My question, because I look at things in a different way to other people. I said, well, why would you pay for the childcare in the day, but you didn't pay at night? That doesn't make sense if you're rich. They were middle class, rich, not with a, they weren't rich, but they lived in a horrible suburban, horrible house in wherever it was, which the public ended up paying the mortgage on for a few months. That wasn't very nice either, was it? Greedy old McCanns. They're horrible people. They're disgusting. But why would you pay for the childcare in the day but not at night? when you wanted to go out doing your swinging parties or whatever you're up to. I don't know what they were up to, but anyway, they hate me, these McCanns, so I don't care. I'm prepared to speak out against the McCanns, and I will not shut up. No, I haven't shut up for a very. I never shut up. So don't tell me to shut up anybody. I do speak out. The McCanns. Look, I met them a number of times via this horrible Catherine Mayer. She's a crook as well. And, you know, Kathy, the racist bigot Kathy, she's not a nice lady. And yeah, tell her to sue me. Yeah, come on, Kathy. I'd love to have a court case with you, you miserable old bitch. Right. So, no, I'm not scared of Catherine Mayer. No, not scared of her. Her husband, you know, the old filthy old creep, Sir Christopher, the Red Sox fop. Well said, Lord Prescott, for having a pop at him. The thing in my life, I'll tell you this, viewers, because you're all going on at me. I'm not scared of anybody. Take me on. Because I've got nothing to lose. I'm just myself. I will tell you my view. And I have been through these stories. If I don't know about the story, I won't speak about the story. So, yeah, with regard to these people, the McCanns, I endured their company. I will say endured because the way I noticed them, he's aggressive. He is scary. There's something not quite right about him. But there is something about her that she's submissive. She totally does as she's told, which means that she knows something. I think we all know what really happened that night, but I can't prove it. So I'm not going to go down the route of talking about it. And I did this on Talk TV. I go on, you know, many programs talking about them because I have spent time with them. I am a weird thing. I have spent time with a lot of people involved with the case. Now, my view is totally irrelevant. My friends know my view, but I cannot publicly share my view because it would be libelous, of course. But I've done, you know, programs. I've been on the program most recently on Talk TV where we talked about Christian Bruckner. Christian Bruckner, I do not believe to be the abductor of Madeleine McCann, but it's never been proven. So I go through the next stage of the story. I have been doing this story since 2008. Life moves on, but here I am. So I can't say much more today to you, but I honestly would like to say that the biggest problem in this story are the parents. Come on, Mr. and Mrs. Dr. McCann and Dr. McCann. You need to kind of man up, grow up, and show up and tell some truths. and the police operation, Operation Grange. It is time that the police operation finally came to an end. It is time that other missing people got some justice. That is what I want from that story. I want other people who are missing to get justice. There's no need to continue funding a pointless search that will never ever be solved. So let's find people who can be found. Anyway, I'm going to end my stream and say thank you ever so much to all of you. You've all been very, very, very nice. You've been wonderful. And it is time for me to go to bed. And that's the end of that. So thank you very much and good night to you all. You don't like Jerry, I know. He's an arrogant bully. He's this. Okay, well, before I end, okay, right. You're quite cross with Jerry. There we are. Anyway, I'll just say good night and thank you. I think it's better I don't respond to these messages. I don't need a person shouting in the background either, so please ignore that remark. It wasn't from me, so there we go. Anyway, night, take care and sleep tight. Take care. Bye-bye.